to look at all this and capture some of these salient points to ensure that we build resilience of our vulnerable communities, but as well, how do we work with other nations globally to bring all these changes about our environment to have a more sustainable production and consumption pattern for our communities. This is very essential. That is why in 2020 September, the Gambia has reviewed our nationally determined contribution to the Paris Agreement that was submitted to the UNFCCC in September. And Honorable Member for Serekunda and Chair, I am very glad to report to your committee that because of the efforts of the government and the citizens at large, the Gambia is the only country in the whole world out of 200 countries that have submitted an NDC, the nationally determined contribution, revised nationally determined contribution to the UNFCCC, Paris compliant. Because you remember that in 2015, countries were asked to submit an intended nationally determined contribution. And when Gambia submitted the revised one with the support of our partners, so all these are things that we are working on to put the Gambia on a development trajectory that is highly sustainable. Not only sustainable, but also ensure that we create employment along the value chain, but also be mindful of the environment. So this is the effort that we are putting in place to see that the National Environment Agency has the power already given to it by the Act, but also we have other acts that also drive their powers. So all these are part of our legislative reforms that we are working on, Mr. Chair. And as we speak, I have just opened today the long-term strategy for climate change for the Gambia, for the process to start. We have already developed the vision, which is already in line with the Ministry of Finance initiative, together with the Ministry of Environment, Green Recovery post-COVID. Because what we want to see, we want to set ourselves a target. And this target that we set for ourselves is not only coming from the least developed countries, but we are challenging the developed countries that we are responsible for the climate mess. They were responsible because they were developing their economies at the expense of the environment. Now it is time for us to clean. And in environmental management, we have a term that we call polluter pay principle. Polluter pay principle. The polluter pay principle. Because the one who pollutes is responsible. So now we are cleaning. We are of 100 billion to clean the mess. At the last COP26, Gambia was one of those leading the negotiations on adaptation. But we are only at 80 billion and we still have 20 billion outstanding for us to be able to do our mitigation and adaptation activities. So, Mr. Chair, why I am broadening this, the scope of this, is to give you an idea as to the kind of activities and reforms that we are working on, so that we have the legal basis to claim what we are claiming. At plenary at the National Assembly at some point, I may be given opportunity to explain to the entire National Assembly and the country at large what we have so far achieved in terms of programming and projects, particularly the National Environment Agency. And on behalf of the Chair of the Governing Council, that is Her Excellency the Vice President, and all other members, I have the pleasure to present to you the annual activity report of the National Environment Agency 2019 and audited accounts 2019 by Augustus for your consideration and adoption. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. We hope that introductory behalf would have to be also submitted so that it will serve as an addendum to the report. Now, maybe ask, would you be presenting the report or would you cause a member of management to do the presentation? If so, could you identify who should present them?
The management, the executive director who serves as the secretary, the council, and also a member of the management will do the presentation. Of course, with the auditor who is here with us.
Executive officer?
The executive director.
Executive director.
Yes.
You may proceed and guide us to the page. You may read word for word or summarize as long as you guide us. But if you move away from the script, then you would have to also submit whatever words you added in a separate report so that it will serve as addendum to the report. You may go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much, honorable members of Parliament, external auditors, the press, and of course my colleagues from NEA. With the permission of the Honorable Minister, I started the activity reports. And of course, with the framework of the reporting, if you look at the table of contents, on page 2, first there's a general introductory part on the legal establishment of NEA, and we also includes a brief description about how programming is done at the institution. Then you have the activity report that is also arranged according to the two main technical departments in the area. And then there is a coverage of project implementation at the office for the year under review. And I also let you just assume the executive summary is a summary of what is detailed in the report. And since the entire report has been submitted, then we can start with the introductory chapter, if you would permit. That is on page 1 of the report, that is general introduction. The first part of that we try to give at least the rational guide reporting, and that is the constitutional requirement that the agency as a body corporate should at least by the third month of the succeeding year submit before the Assembly activity and financial reports. So that's the basis, in short. Then gave a brief summary on the establishment and functions of the National Environment Agency. That the agency is established by Section 9 of the National Environment Management Act of 1994 as a body corporate. That's why it's called an agency. So that's the universal names for all institutions that are set up or established by an act of parliament, as opposed to the ministries. And of course, the functions are far more than what we have here. As a reporting way to just to give what is important as a summary form, we just outline a few of the functions, which is one, implement policies of the National Environment Council, prepare proposals for policies and economic studies for the council, as well as undertake studies and submit reports and documents of the council. Then, apart from the council, there are other administrative bodies at the institution, which are also established by the Act. The council, as already said earlier, is the governing body of the institution. That means all major decisions will be taken in other agencies by a board taken by council in this particular case. And the council is supported by what we call an administration and finance committee. By section 12 of the Act, this is actually mainly set up for staff matters. But over the years, since the agency was established by an act in 1994, and then that's when it started actually operating. It was still recruiting in 1995 for, I believe, very good reasons. And as per the records that we have, there was never a council meeting. But then there were regular meetings of the Administration and Finance Committee to a point that it naturally took over the functions of the council. It was overseen in both financial and staff matters and any other major decision that may pertain to the institution. Finally, the council, as an entire team, met in late 2020, so on November 25th, and then there was a second meeting earlier this year on October the 14th. The members of the Admin and Finance Committee, they are stated on the actual section 1.3 to 1.33 are the same, arranged in different texts. That was an oversight, that was an error, so not existed. But now I think section 1.3.3 is more straightforward, where you have the representative of the President, the representative of the Minister of Finance, Personnel Management Office, the Executive Director, and the Deputy Executive Director. The agency's code of conduct, which is called the Manual of Procedures, the current version is also under review. At the time of its inception, there was no Office of Deputy Executive Director. What they had was a Director of Networks that was overseeing the two technical departments. So that is what is in the document. But that position has long since been abolished and then replaced by a Deputy Executive Director. That's why we have it here. And you have Technical Advisory Committee. Again, the act is very specific on this. It says 15 members from public and non-public institutions. That is the performance of the agency in view of set goals, review and advise the agency on human impact assessment and major audits. So again, this was never fully set because the council never met. I would have given the opportunity to have it set up. It was finally agreed at the meeting of 14th of April 2021, the council meeting of 14th of April. Then you have
we are dealing with the 2019 report. I don't know how we can insert the 20, and ultimately you'll be able to have the opportunity to give us.
The agency has 10 programs. Its function is dual. One side is regulatory, another side is a coordination of another management. So for the coordination function, each program constitutes a technical working group. And then what the management program, where any institution that has anything to do with this is part of that particular committee. It also establishes local environment committees at the council levels. This is also set under section 17 of NEA and the functions coordinate activities of the agency within their jurisdictions, develop local environment plans, initiate and promote bylaws related to the environment. The last part of this chapter, how is programming done at the agency? How is it arranged in order to ensure it functions as stated by law? So there is a technical services department. This is largely for regulation. And then the programs under this department are listed in table 1 on the next page 4. One is environmental impact assessment. There is a regulation on impact assessment that is largely enforced by this program. There is environmental quality program. Perhaps the most popular part of this program is on waste management. There is a hazardous chemicals and pesticides program. As the name implies, it deals with such substances. And again, we have the Gambia is party to international regulations, international laws. So most of these laws are handled by programs under this department. And not the least, we have another legislation and policy program. legislative reviews, policy reviews are led by this particular program. And the coordinating function of the institution is led by the Intersectional Department, where you have one agriculture and resources program that serves as platform, for coordination of implementation of economic policy in this country. And there is a coastal and marine environment program. Again, the coastal environment is home to a number of environmental policies. To a point that the program is set up to bring all these policies together to make sure that we can together. Then you have an environmental education and communication program, environmental information systems program, research and development. The agency has also established regional offices in all administrative headquarters. These are largely for the enforcement of regulations at the local level. Then there is a third Department of Administration and Finance, as the name suggests, human resource development, asset management, financial management, and this as a support to activity implementation by the two other programs. Section 2, now we go to the activity by each general department, by each program. We start with the impact assessment program. The way we largely measure the achievement of this program over the period, as the Honorable Minister highlighted earlier, the regulation, there's an EIA regulation 2014, which requires, based on the Schedule A of NEA, National Environment of 1994, there is a list of activities which the law requires that they go through an environmental and social impact assessment to determine that, at least to determine whether they are friendly environmentally or not. And then when they are not friendly, there are two options. They could be asked for more improvement before they are allowed to proceed, or totally rejected. And then table 3, we try to summarize the number of applications that are received by this program. That is also broken down into liquefied petrol and gas, which takes a majority of applications. Then there is quarry, processing, manufacturing, and then the list goes on agricultural projects. But as you can see on table, this is dominated by LPG, a number of them again from fuel vending stations. Then there's an indication of one of them, like the 80 for LPG, 75 was approved, 3 were denied. And at the time of reporting, those received in 2019, there are 2 pending applications that have to proceed in 2020. Sorry. Another quality program, as the name implies, ensures that we have a quality environment for healthy living. And then we have a number of subsidiary laws. There is an order on plastic ban, there is a regulation on anti-littering, you have standards on environmental quality, and the regulation on discharge of industrial discharge mainly into the environment. Again, the implementation of these are handled by this program. Added to that, there is also a complaints bureau, but this is very clear in the Act to address environmental complaints from the public. There is also a complaints bureau that is also established, and the table 4 summarizes the number of complaints that were received and then categorized according to the type of complaint that was received in this area. The program also happens to be the focal point for community engagement when it comes to environmental quality matters for a number of activities, mainly implementing activities in their local environments. And then for that year, in table 5, the number of activities that we participated, whether it was a public institution or private entity or local communities. The hazardous chemicals and pesticides program Actually, in addition to NEA, there is a separate act, that also exists for the management of hazardous chemicals and pesticides. There is another regulation in terms of legal enforcement of the hazardous chemicals and pesticides regulations. And then key activities of the program as outlined: registration of chemicals and pesticides, issuing provisional client certificates, and permits for dealers. But then most of these things are done within the framework of wider regulations in the same area. Because the Gambia is a member of this, sorry about that. In table 6, then we try to provide a summary of the operations of the program for that year. Commercial applications, wholesale, warehouse, imports, retail. These are the licenses. The new licenses, renewals that are received for that particular year. And because there are certain groups of pesticides or chemicals that are restricted or even totally banned, and then of course it is a requirement that all such substances are labeled in English, the expiry date clearly indicated, which facilitates the job of inspectors who go around to inspect and then look at what is there. If it is expired, it is confiscated. If it is restricted or if it is totally banned, it is confiscated. So we try to provide as well. The program also has programs with international agencies. One of them is UNEP. The Gambia is a member to the Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants. These are substances, largely PCBs, that stay very long in the environment. They hardly degrade in a very short time. At a point that they become hazardous to life. Then there was one sub-program with UNEP. They supported the agency to develop a national implementation plan for the Stockholm Convention. Then there was another support from them, technical assistance for these developed countries. This was also by the United Nations Development Program, all related to management of chemicals under the Stockholm Convention. Not the list of that, such activities and the inclusion of the National Pesticide Management Committee. That said, the Gambia is a member of the wider Sahelan Pesticide Committee, and then this requires that at the national level we also have a committee. And then in this case, the NEA is a member, and it is chaired by the Minister of Agriculture. Then there is the National Ozone Office. The Gambia is a party to the Vienna Convention on Ozone-depleting substances, and then an offshoot of that, the Montreal Protocol, which requires that countries that are party to those international treaties set up national ozone offices who are charged with the control of ozone-depleting substances. That's mainly so the two functions of that program. There are trainings on the regular trainings. Because here the main consumer of ozone-depleting substances are air conditioners and refrigerators. And then through support from UNEP, UNIDO, and continuous training on how to replace most of these machines so that they are compliant with acceptable ozone-depleting substances. And then they are required to do annual data collection and then submit to UNEP on the level of compliance on this. So that's the last program on the technical services department. As I said, that is the regulatory arm of the institution. Now the other department, industrial department, that's where you have the coordinating function. That's why each program is, this is where the implementation of the various environmental and regulatory policies are coordinated. Just a reminder, our environment is sectorally managed. to a point that each individual sector has a policy. There is a policy for forestry, there is a policy for wildlife conservation, there is a policy for fisheries, there is a policy for energy, there is a policy for these programs exist to provide a platform where these policies are disclosed and then just ensure that the various departments, so the various ministries are working together. So one of the most important of these is the Agriculture and Natural Resources Program, the NEA program, and then there is a working group that is again both national and public institutions, NGOs, and even our international partners. Environmental Education and Communication Program, as the name implies, there is an environmental education communication strategy that is implemented, which is coordinated by this particular program. So some of the things that they do is support the establishment of environmental courses in school, support the establishment of educational resources centers at schools, and then community outreach, and support publicizing community initiative among the matters. Then there is a particular presentation of some of the few activities that particular program in 2019. Environmental information systems, as the name implies, is data collection, processing into information to advise decision making through mapping and then the establishment of databases. Program has three main components, units. There is a geographic information system that deals with geospatial database and management. There is a documentation center as well that is also under this program. There is an environmental information system strategy that details how data, among others, is shared among institutions, trying to come up with a national data model so that at least there's something that all of us are working at the same level if it comes to the sharing of maps and data. The Coastal and Marine Environment Program, as I said, the coastal and marine environment is one of the most important environments in this country. Because I think every single environmental policy is very active in the coastal zone and the marine zone. To a point that again, the program is needed, that we serve as the secretariat, bringing together all these policies and ensuring that they work together for the good of for our common good. And that is one zone, and then they have activities and routine monitoring that is conducted by a coastal zone management unit, and then there is a working group that also exists that goes around for various monitoring activities. And then this all working groups ideally should meet every quarter to look at matters related to the program as well as other environmental policies. That closes the 9 or so programs for the agency, and then of course we have added to that there are projects during this period that were by the office and being implemented at the office. One of those is the Global Climate Change Alliance. This is an EU-funded project. There was a failed first phase of it. Then the PROS means that was another phase that started in 2019. At the time, the project has 3 main components. That's institutionalization of nationally integrated coastal zone management approach. There's another category on knowledge management, and then there is one integrated actions for climate change adaptation. So this project, as I said, is still going on. At the time, it was only hence the report here. So in conclusion, of course, each institution will have your strengths and weaknesses, and then where you, of course, think support is needed to move on. So that's basically where the conclusion of the report lies. And with that, Honorable Minister, Mr. Chairman, honorable members, auditor and members of my team, that's in brief the summary of the activity for 2019.
Thank you very much.
Could the members of management lead to the financial statement. Take us to the page.
I'm here to present you the financial statement of the National Environment Agency for the year ended 31st December 2019.
You mention the page.
I'll start with the balance sheet, which is on page 8.
Page 8, the balance sheet. Members, are you there? Go ahead.
Okay. We first have the fixed assets. The assets on 31st December 2019 and 31st December 2018. We have the non-current assets, property, plant, and equipment, which is on note 2, which is $25,845,166. In 2018, $28,903,842. Total non-current assets is 2019, $25,845,166. 2018, $28,903,842. Current assets, trade debtors, which is on note 3. 2019, we have $1,719,623. In 2018, we have $1,202,467. Cash and bank.
Ignore the notes.
Okay. Cash and bank. 2019, $2,848,016. 2018, $374,315. Total current assets. 2019, $4,567,639. 2018, $1,576,782. Total assets. 2019, $30,412,805. 2018, $30,480,624. Accumulated funds and liabilities. Accumulated funds, 2019, $13,227,883. 2018, $16,255,952. Total accumulated funds, 2019, $227,883. 2018, $16,255,952. Current liabilities, creditors and accruals. 2019, $15,512,512,003. 2018, $9,374,518. Bank loans. 2019, negative $306,911. 2018, $1,580,991. Capital grant. 2019, $1,680,000. 2018, $2,310,000. Bank overdraft. 2019, $299,830. 2018, $959,163. Total current liabilities, that's $17,184,922. 2018, we have $14,224,672. Total accumulated fund and liabilities, 2019, $30,412,805. 2018, $30,480,624. That's the end of the balance sheet. We have the income statement. Incomes for 2019, we have $40,875,492. 2018, we have 40,078,592. Expenditure. We have personnel costs. 2019, 19,014,647. 2018, we have 17,304,970. Motor expenses. 2019, 2,695,735. 2018, 1,896,367. Administrative expenses. 2019, 7,546,331. 2018, 9,389,073. Generator expenses. 2019, 936,328. 2018, 795,825. Printing and stationery. 2019, 1,221,137. 2018, 241,881. Professional fees. 2019, 363,625. 2018, 149,938. Operating costs. 2019, 2,193,562. 2018, 3,810,298. Repairs and maintenance. 2019, 2,619,119. 2018, 2,178,764. Bank charges and interest. 2019, 56,585. 2018, 65,701. General expenses. 2019, 763,294. 2018, 2,600,892. Monitoring and enforcement expenses. 2019, 1,829,475. 2018, 3,533,454. Travel expenses. 2019, 2,091,809. 2018, 1,434,449. Audit fees. 2019, 272,550. 2018, 272,550. Depreciation. 2019, 5,304,071. 2018, 5,993,949. Foreign exchange losses. 2019, 135,519. 2018 is nil. Total expenditures. We have 2019, 47,043,787. And in 2018, 49,668,111. Deficit for the period. 2019.
You should read it as negative minus.
Oh, yeah, sorry, it's negative.
Could you go back to this?
Okay, total expenditure for 2019 is negative 47 million and
Go ahead.
negative 47,043,787. 2018, negative 49,668,111. Deficit for the period. 2019, negative 6,168,783. And 2018, negative 9,589,519. That's the end of the income statement.
Go ahead.
We look at the statement of changes in accumulated fund for the year ended 31st December 2019. As of 1st January 2018, you have 27,615,000. That's as of 1st January 2018.
Yes.
You have deficit for the year, which is negative 9 million.
Under the heading
Accumulated fund. Under the accumulated fund.
Mhm.
Deficit for the year is negative 9,589,519.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
total. Just, you are reading what is there. Where
Yeah,
is
it's the same thing,
verifying
that's,
it?
yeah.
Mhm.
Prior year adjustment
The
on the
total.
accumulated fund.
It's good to be mentioning the total. We are verifying whether what is there
It's the
is
same.
correct.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes,
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. On deficit for the year on the accumulated fund, you have negative 9,589,519. Total, negative 9,589,519. You have prior year adjustment on the accumulated fund is negative 1,769,889, and in total, negative 1,769,889. Accumulated fund as of 31st December 2018. On the accumulated fund, we have 16,255,952. And in total, we have 16,255,952. At 1st January 2019, accumulated fund, we have 16,255,952. Total, we have 16,255,952. Deficit for the year, on the accumulated fund, we have negative 6,168,783. In total, negative 6,168,783. Prior year adjustment, accumulated fund, we have 3,140,714. And in total, we have 3,140,714. Accumulated fund as of 31st December 2019. Accumulated fund, we have 13,227,883. And in total, we have 13,227,883. Do I need to read the notes? On that?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we look at the cash flow statement. Cash flow from operating activities. We have operating profit, operating loss before tax. 2019, negative 6,168,783. 2018, negative 9,589,519. Depreciation. 2019, we have 5,304,071. 2018, 5,593,948. Decrease on increased debtors. You have in 2019, negative 517,156. And in 2018, we have 53,242. Decrease or increase in creditors. 2019, 6,137,485. 2018, 5,656,450. Adjustment in the asset account. In 2019, negative 1,027,187. 2018, 1,490,467. Prior year adjustment. Minus 1,490,467. Prior year adjustment, 2019, negative 1,027,187. That's the adjustment in the accounts, asset account, which is 2019, 1,127,187. 2018, 1,490,467. Prior year adjustment,
Negative.
2019.
We're missing the negative.
Okay, sorry. Negative 1,490,467. Prior year adjustment, 2019, 3,140,714. 2018, negative 1,714,989. Prior year adjustment, in 2019, nil. 2018, you have negative 54,900. Cash flow from operating activities, 2019 is 6,869,144. In 2018, is negative 1,146,235. Cash flow from investing activities, acquisition of fixed assets, 2019, negative 1,218,208. 2018, 3,150,000, negative 3,158,000. Cash flow from financing activities, bank loans, 2019, negative 1,887,902. In 2018, 464,013. Grant realized. In 2019, negative 630,000. 2018, 1,470,000. Net cash flow or outflow, 2018, 2019, 3,133,034. 2018, negative 2,370,222. Changes in cash and bank balances. Cash and bank balances as at 1st January 2019, negative 584,848. In 2018, 1,785,374. Cash and bank balances as at 31st December 2019, 2,548,186. In 2018, negative 584,848. Net cash flow, net cash inflow or outflow. In 2019, we have 3,133,034. In 2018, we have negative 2,370,222.
Thank you very much, Professor. Lead us to the opinion.
Auditor's opinion. We have audited the accompanying financial statements of the National Environment Agency, NEA, which comprises the balance sheet, the income statement, the cash flow statement, and the statement of changes in accumulated fund for the year then ended, and notes to the financial statements, including accounting policies applicable to the agency. In our opinion, the financial statements give a true and a fair view of the financial position of the agency as at 31st of December 2019, and of its financial performance and its cash flows for the year then ended, and has been prepared in line with the generally accepted accounting principles and in accordance with the NEA Act 1994. Basis of opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with the international standards on auditing, the ISAs. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statement section of our report. We are independent of the agency in accordance with the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants, the Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, IASBA Code, together with the ethical requirements that are relevant to our audit of the financial statements in the Gambia. And we have fulfilled our other responsibilities in accordance with these requirements and the IESBA code. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion.
Do you have any other information?
No, we move directly to responsibilities of management and those charged with governance.
So you don't have any information? That's it.
No.
All right, then why don't you go to them? We'll take the rest as well.
Okay. This was signed by Augustus from dated 8th of October 2021.
You do the engagement partner, no?
Okay. The engagement partner on this audit resulting in this independent auditor's report is Mr. Augustus F. Prom, signed Augustus Prom, registered auditors, dated 8th of October 2021.
Thank you very much. Management letter.
Should I start with the prioritization of findings on page 3?
Okay, go ahead.
The objective of the management letter report is to communicate appropriately to those charged with governance and management of an entity on information gathered in the course of the audit to give added value to the client. The management letter is used to communicate with those charged with governance, focusing on the following: the weaknesses within the internal control system or the books of account system that could lead to material losses or misstatements in the financial statements. Efficiencies to be made to improve on the overall performance of the organization. Failure to comply with policies, laws, regulations, and laid down procedures. And issues to be addressed which will enable the audit to run more smoothly. The audit findings which are stated in the management letter are categorized into a system of grading to enable management to better prioritize implementation of recommendations emanating from the audit findings in the audit. The observations raised in the audit are categorized into 3 different grades, which is as follows. Grade 1, high risk. These are findings that are particularly significant and the urgent involvement of management may be required for their resolution. Grade 2, medium risk. These are findings that may have a significant impact on the control environment or the financial systems or on compliance, which can have a negative impact on operations. And grade 3, the low risk. These are weaknesses which have a lower level of risk, but are possibly indicative of a loss of control or system deficiency and require attention because it could lead to consequences that could be avoided. Please turn to page 4.1, cash and cash equivalent observation.
Go ahead.
During the audit process, we sent out independent bank confirmations to the bank to confirm the bank balances reported by the agency. We noted differences between the independent bank confirmation balance by the bank and the bank balance captured in the reconciliation as follows: Central Bank and Zenith Bank as listed in the table. Furthermore, with regard to Zenith Bank, we noted that the account number stated on the bank statement is 6010130008, while the bank confirmation states 60101.
Let's take it as well.
Pardon?
I say we take the numbers as well.
Okay. Implication. Differences between the bank balance maintained by the agency and the balance confirmed by the bank indicates an error or irregularity between the bank balance provided to NEA and the bank balance captured in the accounting system. Differences in account numbers between the account numbers maintained by the NEA and the number maintained by the bank as stated in the confirmation could lead to irregularities due to different account numbers in use. Our recommendation: we recommend that management should ensure that the above differences between NEA and the bank is regularized going forward to ensure that such differences do not exist.
Management response. Management took note of the audit observation and recommendation and henceforth shall take necessary action to address the concern in figure.
Page 5.2, Human Resource Management observation. The following observations were noted during our review on the human resource aspect of the agency. A. Job descriptions. A review was conducted on the staff personnel files on new starters, and we noted job descriptions were not in file for review as listed below. B. Leave roster. We requested for the leave roster, but this was not provided for our review. We further requested for the accrued leave for each staff of the agency, but this was not provided for our review. Implication: job descriptions not being filed makes us question the basis on which the new starters know their responsibilities within the agency, apart from a verbal confirmation, which is not in line with recommended practice. B. Leave roster. Leave roster and outstanding leave for agency staff not provided by the agency exposes management to a risk of poor monitoring on staff leave, which could lead to cost implications on the agency. Recommendation: we recommend that all employees are to be issued a job description in line with recommended human resource practice, and furthermore, a leave roster should be maintained within staff with staff outstanding leave to further improve on the leave process within the agency.
Management response: there is no specific job description for individual staff in their files. Management is working on the matter and job descriptions will be provided to all staff based on their positions and filed in their personal files for future reference. The Director General has given directives for a comprehensive leave roster to be prepared and observed by everyone before the end of 2021, without any exception, and no outstanding leave areas will be enforced.
Page 7.3, expenditure review. Upon our review on the expenses of the agency, we noted the following expenditure transactions with inadequate supporting documents as listed below in the table. Implication: agency expenditures incurred without receipts or acknowledgement provided for our review means that there is no evidence in fact to ascertain if the invoice was settled. Furthermore, entering into a refurbishment contract without a contract is not in line with the recommended practice for refurbishment. In the event the contract does not deliver as per deliverables, there is no contract in place to guard the agency against financial losses. Recommendation: management should ensure receipts are obtained after payments are effected to complete the document trail process of the transaction. Contracts should be in place for all future refurbishments in line with recommended practice.
Management response: receipts are not available for the 3 transactions mentioned, and also no contract was signed for the general refurbishment of NEA and LRR offices. Management has noted the implications and will make sure receipts are obtained for all future transactions and contracts signed for all future contracts.
Page 8.4, beneficiary acknowledgement on cleaning items. Observation: during the period under review, we noted cleaning items were bought for societies or organizations to implement cleaning activities. We requested for beneficiaries acknowledging items procured for their activities, but this was not provided by management as listed below. Implication: evidence of acknowledgement not provided means that there is no documentation trail available to ascertain the beneficiary receiving the items, to trace the transactions from the procurement stage to the society receiving the items from the agency. Recommendation: management should ensure documentation is in place to act as evidence during the handover stage, which will complete the process to further improve on the monitoring aspect, which will further minimize the risk of irregularities occurring with the items procured.
Management response: point noted. Advised by external auditors to attach supporting documents to confirm receipt by beneficiaries to be adhered to in the future.
Page 9.5, fuel management. The following was noted during our review on the fuel management aspect of the agency. A. Generator time log sheet. During discussions with management with regard to the fuel purchase for the generator, we requested for the time log to compare against consumptions, but it was confirmed to us that the time log is not maintained. We noted the following fuel purchase for the generator based on our sample as listed below. Fuel issues. We noted the following fuel issues were not signed by the recipient in the fuel logbook during the collection of coupons. To ascertain the level of duty segregation in the design of fuel log during collection of fuel coupons means that there is no evidence to ascertain that the person receiving the fuel, which could lead to irregularities due to inadequate evidence to confirm adequate duty segregation between the coupon holder and the receiving personnel. Our recommendation: management should ensure a generator time log is developed to further improve on the controls and monitoring on fuel purchase. Recipients are to sign the log when receiving the coupons, which will act as evidence on the duty segregation process on fuel.
Management response: generator time log concerns. Management has henceforth institute a log sheet for the generator to compare the amounts purchased and that consumed for control process. Fuel issues. The concern well noted. For more effective and efficient control of fuel distributions to vehicle users, management has put in place a fuel logbook to be signed by all recipients, irrespective of their status, as evidence for amount of coupons received.
Page 11.6, income. The following observations were noted during our review of the income received during the year. A. Acknowledgement on revenue received. During our review on revenue or subvention received, we noted the following income categories with no acknowledgement sent to the source to ensure that the document trail is complete, mainly for government subvention, tax on second-hand goods, and royalties from sand mining. B. Development fees, environmental impact assessment. The following income was received in relation to development fees, but invoices were not raised as listed below. Implication A. Acknowledgement on income or subvention. Receiving income or subvention without sending an acknowledgement to the sender implies an incomplete document trail. Furthermore, in the event the agency receives the wrong amount due to error by the sending bank, it will be difficult for the sender to determine this, considering the acknowledgement is a key mechanism to detect such. B. Invoices not raised. Receiving income from development fees without raising an invoice means that there is no documented basis of the invoice received. Furthermore, errors or irregularities could go undetected in the absence of an invoice, bearing in mind that the invoice will have to go through the review and approve before sending, which is key in minimizing the risk or errors occurring during the invoice raising process. Recommendation. Management should look into the above, which will further improve on the income process within the agency.
Management response. A. Acknowledgement on revenue received. The issuing of receipts for revenues received is an effective management control for confirming amounts received or reconciling difference in revenues reported. This control mechanism will be applied on all revenues received, regardless of mode of payment, example, direct credit transfers. Management therefore agrees with the audit report on this point and will be acknowledging payments by issuing receipts through direct credit transfers. B. Development fees. Environment impact assessment. Management has also agreed with external auditors concerned on this point and shall establish an invoicing system for 1% developmental fees payable and not rely on the bank statement to recognize the revenue after. For the amount of $1,092,080 for 1% developmental fees for service station and bagging plant at Pasek, not captured. See, General Adjustment Reference Number.
Page 13.7, Governance, Governing Council. Upon our review of the governance aspect of the agency, we requested for the Governing Council meeting minutes, but minutes were not provided for our review, which indicates that the Governing Council did not meet for a period of the review. Implication: the Governing Council not meeting during the period of the review to ensure that the objectives of the agencies are achieved is not in line with good corporate governance practice. Recommendation: the Governing Council should meet on a regular basis to further improve on the oversight function of the agency, ensuring objectives are being achieved and in compliance with the NEA Act 1994.
Management response. The concern raised by the audit report is well noted, and management shall engage chairman to ensure the council meets regularly as directed by the NEA Act 1994.
Thank you very much. The rest is the compliance report. Yes, it's a report and explain that during the consideration stage. Honorable Minister, that is the end of the exercise since GBPA is not allowed to give the compliance report on first June. We thank you for being present to guide your team. And we will have the consideration stage on the 25th of January at 11 a.m. And hopefully 25th January, 11